everyone. My name is Sahara, and I'm a law student at George Mason University. As youth in the Northern Virginia community, it's important for us to engage with others and learn about how we can improve our neighborhoods to live in a cleaner, safer, and more equitable place. Today, I'm excited to be joined by entrepreneur and co-founder of Flare Rides, Chris Yeasal, to talk about his electric ride-sharing company that is providing an opportunity to use critical community resources to invest in the future. Welcome, Chris. Could you tell me a little bit about Flare Rides?
Yeah, absolutely. Sahara, thank you so much for having me, and thank you for having us on. It's really an honor to be here today. Flare Rides. So how do we get started, and what are we working on? What gives us at Flare purpose in our lives is to address improving connectivity in the transportation system to ensure that people in areas that might be underserved by transit have access to transportation. People with disabilities have access to transportation. People don't feel cut off from their neighborhoods and the communities they live in just because of issues that may exist with transit or what they have going on in their lives. That's what motivates us. And we also want to do it with zero emission vehicles to be a part of building a more sustainable future for our society as well.
That's incredible. I really love your mission of inclusivity, especially during this time. So you touched upon this a little bit, but what was the biggest challenge you faced while getting started?
So a little bit about me. I have a background, transportation. My career started out, I was an Army transportation officer. I did a deployment to Iraq as a convoy commander and a truck platoon leader in Iraq. So with logistics, you're obviously, it's the art of managing all these tiny moving pieces. So I'll tell specifically, there was one specific experience I had is on the last mission I did in Iraq after 15 months of running convoys from Kuwait all across Iraq to every corner of Iraq. That was our mission. There was everywhere in Iraq at all the forward operating bases, anywhere you go, there were A-frame canvas tents that were being cooled by air conditioning units in 120-degree heat plus in the summer, with diesel generators running nonstop all over the country of Iraq. My last mission in Iraq, I saw some contractors spraying foam insulation over the tents. And I went over to them and I asked the guy who was doing it, hey, so what's this all about? What's going on with this? And he goes, oh yeah, we're just spraying this insulation down. That way we can keep the temperature in the tents cooler without heating them with AC all the time. And I was like, well, that's really interesting. That's a good idea. This huge ripple effect took place. That seems like such common sense. They're just hiding in plain sight, but somehow, some way, no one had ever thought of doing it. And when I saw that, again, it was my last mission after 15 months of running convoys in Iraq. That specific moment is when it clicked with me that I probably was going to get out of the Army and focus on sustainability issues and build a more sustainable future in my tiny little part of the world, right?
I'm just incredibly inspired about everything that you're saying, and I'm sure everyone that's going to watch this is also going to feel the same, especially, as you said, the youth community. So what are some things that you've learned while doing this?
I think the coolest thing I've learned is just making decisions on your own. Like this is what I think we should do right now. Here's the problem. There's no playbook for it. There's no one we can call to ask us what to do since we're trying to do something new. We have to talk together. We have to make a decision, and then we have to go out and execute it. When COVID hit, we were kind of just on the verge of breaking out. We had our first partnerships in place, and it was really imminent. Like within 2 weeks, we were going to get going. This thing we been building up to for months, right? And COVID hit, and we had a decision to make. One of them was, what do we do with our vehicles? So my co-founder, Andres Delgado, I've known him for years. We actually grew up together as kids. And Andres proposed the idea like, hey, this is going on in the world around us right now. It obviously is going to have an impact on our business, but we have a choice to make right now. Are we going to just sit back and watch all this unfold, or are we going to use the resources and the means that we have at our disposal to do something about it, to do something to help people, to do something to help our community? And this is like within days of COVID really becoming clear when nobody knew what to expect. So we organized it, and we took our vehicle, we went around Aurora Highlands, and I believe it was 824 pounds of food. And we have pictures I can send you, but the entire vehicle everywhere. It was so much we ran out of space in our vans. And that was so incredibly inspiring to do that. And then there was some local news coverage that came out of it as well. And then other people all across the county, Crystal City, Ballston, reached out to us. We've done food drives there for months. All told now, I would need to talk to my colleague Louise.
Incredible.
4,000 pounds. Columbia Pike Revitalization Organization reached out and looped us into an amazing program they set up, where lots of win-wins, where they are providing meals. It's called the Meals for Nurses program for Virginia Hospital Center. They reached out to us about that and said, we set up this program where we are going to be providing meals to nurses who need it. And that's day shift, night shift, working in any number of capacity. And at the same time we're doing that, we're going to be purchasing these meals from all up and down Columbia Pike restaurants that are owned by struggling small business owners. And we're able to do this program because of the generosity of people in the Columbia Pike area. A lot of people right now are looking at the world and saying it's a pretty dark time right now.
Right.
What we've seen over the past 3 months is an extraordinary outpouring of support for each other and a desire to help each other. That's humanity at its best. And I think you're seeing that all over the country right now, all over the world right now.
Thank you so much. So what are your plans moving forward now? You guys have shown that you've been able to adapt to all the difficult situations that have come at you. What are your plans moving forward? What's next? Where do you see the business and the vehicles moving in the future?
Yeah, absolutely. So the immediate future, we have put in place a lot of safety precautions. We think it's pretty close to exhaustive what we could have in place to resume service on limited basis with these precautions in place. So that includes installing vinyl dividers, floor to ceiling vinyl dividers that block the compartments, the rows of seats off into separate compartments. We have a small supply of masks. We'll be giving masks to any passengers who don't have them. Extensive use in disinfectant, cleaning out the vehicles. Windows will be down. It's all guided by the CDC state guidelines. So that's what we're trying to do. And we're longer term. So we are going to be partnering with George Washington University's Sustainable Urban Planning Program to develop a tool to assess kind of equity dimensions of a transportation system, an area that we hope can be of use to everyone from developers to local governments. We're hoping to expand our service into other cities in the area, but we also hope we can, again, increase accessibility and access to the transportation system for people who might otherwise spend 20 minutes walking to a bus or walking back home from a bus at night to get from their jobs or to go to school. So that's something we hope we can do. In Arlington, we would love to start working in the district and then beyond. That's our vision. So there's the next 2 months, and then there's our longer term vision.
Right. And then just for my last question, sustainability is often characterized as the balancing of social, environmental, and economic spheres of society. As a rising leader in the green industry, what does sustainability mean to you?
Sustainability is the practice of ensuring that future generations can live with the same quality of life that you had.
On behalf of our viewers and myself, I want to thank you, Chris, for all you've done to support nonprofit organizations and vulnerable communities during this time of crisis. Whether it be for social, economic, or environmental reasons, our goal should not just be to get back to normal, but to improve our communities and become better and more resilient.
You're far too kind in your words.
Thank you, everyone, for watching this edition of the Sustainable Scoop. Catch you guys next time, and make sure you subscribe.